So is it profitable to sell on eBay in 2020? Well, that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. But before I get started, I just wanted to introduce myself to anybody who's new to the channel. My name is Paul Haywood and I create YouTube videos, and I also run a blog on all things e-commerce related. So if that's something you're interested in learning about, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell to get first access to all my new content. And also, if you do enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could smash that like button. So with that said, let's get started. So it's pretty much a given that eBay is still one of the world's biggest marketplaces. Yes, it's lost a lot of traction to Amazon in the last few years, but it's still incredibly popular and it's still making a hell of a lot of sales every single day. And there's a lot of people who are still wondering, is it profitable to sell on eBay? Well, it is, but possibly not for the reasons that you might expect. As a reseller on there, somebody who buys wholesale and then sells retail, it's really difficult on there, and I kind of covered that in my last video on why it sucks to sell on eBay. But don't let that video put you off. There's still ways to make money on eBay, but as a reseller it is really difficult, just because there's so much competition from people who you're going to struggle to compete against. The first is foreign sellers. There's a lot of Chinese sellers and sellers from the Far East on there who can sell things for way cheaper than what you can. Even if you bought wholesale off them, imported them here in the UK and then sold them on, you still wouldn't be able to compete on price. So for a lot of cheaper goods, like cheaper electronics, things like that, it's just not feasible. The second thing is there's a lot of big name sellers entered the platform over the last couple of years. Some of the big name ones I've seen are the likes of Argus, Courage PC World and Superdry. And not only have these guys got huge inventories to list on eBay, they're also being promoted heavily by eBay themselves, and that just makes it really difficult to compete in any of these kind of niches. But there is an opportunity on eBay that you can exploit that these international sellers from the Far East or wherever they are in the world and these big name high street sellers can't compete with you on, because they simply don't do it, and that's pre-owned goods. And this very much goes back to what eBay used to be, what eBay was originally designed for, which was an online marketplace where people could sell the stuff they don't want to other people via an auction format. And it used to work really well, and it was really fun to actually buy and sell on eBay back in those days. But it kind of went through a transition where it became basically just a reseller marketplace. But that dynamic has very much changed over the past couple of years because of the reasons why I mentioned earlier. And there's some people who've really found a way to exploit this by focusing on pre-owned goods, especially pre-owned goods that are no longer available. Take this camera that I'm filming this on right now. I was looking for this last year, and I had a set number of features that I want, and I also had a budget, which meant that buying a new camera was completely out of the realms of possibility, because within my budget I couldn't get what I wanted. So that meant I needed to buy a pre-owned camera. So where do you go to look for pre-owned goods? You go to eBay. And what I found when I was looking for this camera was that online auctions were doing really well, especially for products that were discontinued. This is a Canon EOS M6 for anybody who's interested, and it's no longer available to buy new. And when I was looking for this, I noticed that the auctions were doing really well. Not only were they selling for strong money, they was also attracting a lot of interest and a lot of bids. And it meant that it took me quite a while to actually find this camera, because they was all selling for more than what I was willing to pay. And it just triggered that like business instinct in me, that there is a marketplace out there that I hadn't considered before, because I was a reseller on eBay for 7 years, and it's kind of triggered this instinct in me to look into this deeper. And I thought it'd be a really good subject for a YouTube video, so that's why I'm recording this. And I also noticed this in my own niche as well. The guys who are doing really well in terms of sales were the guys who are selling pre-owned jewelry, especially slightly higher ticket pre-owned jewelry. There was some guys who I estimated were doing between 4,000 and 8,000 on the low end in terms of revenue, and they were selling less in terms of volume than what I was, but their average sale price was higher, which meant their average profit per item was also higher. And this meant it's a really attractive thing to look into, is this pre-owned marketplace, because people are always looking for a bargain. It's as simple as that. And there's also a lot of people out there looking for products that are no longer available. I was reading about a guy not too long ago who's made a mint selling VHS players. You wouldn't think there's a huge market for that, but there is. He's going around to lots of charity shops, pre-owned electronics dealers, and picking all these up, sometimes for a couple of pound. I know I used to work for a pre-owned electronics dealer, and we used to sell them on for like £3-4 because we struggled to sell them physically in the store because there wasn't just a marketplace for it. Yeah, but online, he's selling those for sometimes upwards of £50 because they might be rare, they might have a specific set of features that the majority of people aren't going to understand because they're not looking for it. But there is an audience out there who are looking for these specific products, and when they come up for sale, which generally isn't that often, they're prepared to put up the money to buy it so that they get exactly what they want. And this is where you can really make money on eBay, especially if you've got access to a good source of products. So it might be cameras, for example. If you're a camera enthusiast or you work in a camera shop, you might have access to a lot of pre-owned goods. I actually exploited this when I worked for the pre-owned electronics dealer. We used to struggle to sell iPods in the store. We just couldn't sell them. No one was interested in them, but there was a really strong online audience for this. And I went in and I brought the whole stock that we had in the shop. I think I spent my month's wages on every single iPod we had in store. Within the following month, I sold them all on, and I more than doubled my money on that because a lot of these were discontinued. You couldn't go out and buy them. They was in a variety of colors, which some of them are really rare, and this meant that there's desire for the products. People want these things and they're prepared to pay the money for them. So if you can find the right online marketplace of pre-owned goods, you can do really well when selling on eBay. So that's how you can make money in 2020 on eBay. That's how you can build a profitable eBay business. It's by focusing on pre-owned goods, and you might start by focusing on a single niche. Say you focus on cameras or something like that, but then you might, when you're doing research, see that there's a couple of other items that you could start selling that you could also make a lot of money on. So for me, that is the way I would go if I was going to go onto eBay full time again, would be to focus on pre-owned goods, because one, there's demand for the products, two, they're far more profitable than new products, and three, you face a lot less competition. Sometimes there might only be 2 or 3 available on the platform, and if it's a really desirable item, you're going to end up with a bidding war on your auction. That's another thing. It's always better to go for the auction because a lot of people are put off by it now prices, especially on pre-owned goods, because they want to get what they perceive to be a bargain. So if you start it on a 99p auction, for example, people are going to be interested in that, and they're going to be noticing it from the start, because a lot of people who are looking for these products actually have notifications enabled on eBay whenever these things come up. I had it with this camera, and as soon as a new one was available on the platform, I'd get an email come through and I'd be on it straight away. I'd be looking at it, I'd probably be bidding on it. And if you can get these people interested early, there's a chance you're going to create a bidding war for the product, and you probably will get more than you actually anticipate. So that's what I would do. I would focus on the auction aspect rather than the buy it now aspect. Yes, it is a bit of a risk, but the rewards potentially are way more. So there you go, guys. I'm going to pretty much leave it there because I feel like I'm rambling on a little bit now. But that's what I would do personally if I was looking to start an eBay business in 2020, is I would focus on pre-owned goods. And you can also do some research into it as well by going on the completed sales page on eBay. So if you put in a search term, say Canon M6, and on the bottom at the sidebar, you'll see completed listings or sold listings. Go on that and see what things have sold for. You can also go on and see the bid history as well, so you can kind of gauge how much demand there's going to be for these products. If you're finding that certain things are only getting 1 or 2 bids, and that's happening on multiple products, there's probably not that much demand for that kind of product. But if you go on others, you might see that there's 15, 20, 30, 50 bids, whatever. If there's lots of bids and that's happening on multiple products, you know there's a big demand for that product. So that's what you can go and start looking for. And if you start doing that research, in no time you'll find a good selection of products that you can go out, go to charity shops, go to car boot sales, go to pre-owned electronics dealers and look for these products, and you'll be able to see if these products are readily available to you, and also gauge how much they're going to cost, and you'll also have an idea of how much you're going to be able to sell them for as well. So you'll already be figuring out the profit margins that you can make. So there you go, guys. That brings me to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please smash the like button and the subscribe button so you get first access to all my new content. Thank you once again, guys, for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great time, have a great week. I'll see you all in the next video.